All right. All right. Let's bring it up. What's up, everybody? I'm out here in the lab. I got my shades on. And these are really just goggles. Turn this down a little bit so you can all hear me, so I can hear myself. And then I do want to actually put this up over here so y'all can see me a little bit more. Got another screen over here. If I just throw some like white on the screen, it gives me a little bit more light. but I like to keep it dark in here. So what up? Another analysis, another night. Last night's analysis, they were like this close to being perfect. We'll go over some of those. Again, we do this every night pretty much, so tune in, come get some trade ideas, come find some probability. I really do this every night. Just personally for myself as a trader, what I've learned is that if you don't really take at least, I would say at least 30 minutes to 1 hour out of your day, every single day, to make sure that you're analyzing the markets that you trade, the pairs that you trade, if you don't do that, you are going to have anxiety when you're trading, okay? And the less emotion that you can have when you're trading these markets, the better. So if you're going into your day with anxiety, thinking, this pair looks like it could go up, or this pair looks like it could go down, and you didn't necessarily plan the trade, one, you're probably going to start over trading, and two, you're not going to have the confidence to hold that trade like you should. You're not going to have a real plan. I mean, I don't want to say you're not going to have a real plan, but it's just better to go into the day with an actual plan, an actual bias for what you are looking for. So if it does get to those areas, or if it does play out how you think it's going to play, you're going to have that confidence to say, nope, I charted this, I'm sticking with this. And so, like I said, this is personally what I do every single day, and I just like to go live and show other people not really what to do, but how you should approach trading, because I know there's a lot of new people. I know they're like anyone who's in like year one of trading, maybe even year two, they still might not have figured out really how to do this thing. And I'm going on 4 years, so I'm not at 4 years yet, but I've been doing it for over 3 years now. And this is one of the big things that I've realized that you need to do. You need to make sure that you are planning your trades, and so you don't have any type of anxiety the day before or the next day while you're trading, right? So I just wanted to get that out there to let y'all know kind of why I do this. It's not really to show off how I can analyze the market, or it's not even really to give trade ideas. It's more just for me to find out the probabilities and the odds in the markets that I trade, and which pairs that I should be focusing on the next day, and setting alerts and just all that stuff. The more alerts you can set, the less you actually have to stare at these emotionally driven candlesticks. So without further ado, let's get into the dollar, right? So I just erased basically what I was looking for the dollar to do yesterday. I wanted it to come down into this area, and let me full screen this. I wanted it to come down into this area here and then make this move to the upside, but it definitely didn't get there, right? It did make this push up, and I spoke about if the market does make higher highs tomorrow, which was today, and then we get lower lows on the MACD, that we are getting a form of bearish divergence, and we could expect probably a retracement down. So we still have that going on. That's still there. So I'm I would like to see the dollar go bullish, but at this point, with the bearish divergence on the 1 hour, I'm kind of leaning towards a correction still. So let me just see what the daily did. So I like to go from the daily to the 4 hour to the 1 hour. And if I see a trade setup, then I'll go down maybe to the 15-minute possibly to get maybe a better entry. So we're basically playing off this bullish candlestick, looking for a retracement to the upside. You see we've still failed to break this high right there. We got a nice rejection, or kind of like a doji really, off the 50 EMA. That's the blue line, is the 50. And if it breaks through right here, then I really do expect a bullish dollar. But I'm still kind of leaning towards correction. You know, I'm still kind of leaning towards this market maybe coming down into the bullish candlestick, to the bottom of the bullish candlestick, and then making this move up. Because right now, obviously, we're showing this possible indecision, rejection off this 50 on the daily. On the 4 hour, it did break above the 200, so that's nice. But here you can see a little bit of the divergence as well, right? So I don't like playing against divergence. That's one of my things that I've learned a lot. And you see right here, these past two swings, they're also diverged a little bit. So from this swing to this swing, momentum kind of isn't increasing yet. So there's most likely still going to be a pullback into these completely bullish candles that have a little bit of imbalance. It doesn't have to, right? Divergence doesn't work 100% of the time. This could be like a little flag that's playing out. But like I said, I still personally, I'm going to move this fib up a little bit to this wick to wick area right here. And then I'm going to move this zone in right there. So personally, I still want to see the dollar come in and retrace into these areas and then move to the upside. So I'm still bullish on the dollar, but tomorrow, specifically just tomorrow, I don't necessarily, I'm not going to look to just get in right now because of the divergence. I think we could retrace based off of that and then move. Then I would be looking for that move up. Another thing that I'm seeing is, you know, if we come up to the top of this right here, it could be forming a little bit of a three-wave pattern. So you got the big impulse, retrace for one, there's two, this would be three right there. If we form something like this on the dollar, I will really be looking for the move to the downside more than anything, based off of just the divergence, right? So as long as the dollar is still kind of showing this bearish divergence look, I'm not trying to catch this wave up right here yet. I'm still kind of questioning. I need to see a deeper retracement, and then I'll be looking for a move up. Something in this area right here. So still looking for that. Let's check out EU. So that means basically these dollar pairs from UChf up, they're more than likely going to be something that I'm going to have to wait on. All right, so EU, it didn't quite get there as well. It got pretty close, but it didn't quite get there. Let me just erase this. And the bias on EU is still the same for me. Nothing has changed. So let me just check out the daily real quick. Volume is all right. You know, down here we got the volume. And over here we got the profile, volume profile. So yeah, it's holding at the 50 EMA still. You know, bearish bias is still in play for me personally. I'm just really waiting on better pricing at this point. Nothing is, I mean, that candle is not the candle for me to just sell off of. So I need to see some type of rejection again, basically, up in this area, and that will give me a pretty good signal that this should drop. It has a little bit nicer of a bear flag forming. So if I could just get something like this to happen, I will really be bearish. You can see the volume profile up here, how it's sticking out pretty good right in this area. That's where I'd really like to see price get to and then fall from. So same thing, right? I'm just waiting on that opportunity. Now, if price does start to just fall from here, because you've got this flag that's pretty clean. If price does just start to break out from here, it's going to be, for me, probably either a missed opportunity to be able to take the market to the downside, or I'll be looking for like a big impulse on the 15, on the lower time frame, and possibly try to get in on this. Because, right, the market doesn't always come back into the 61.8, the 78.6. That's just my strategy or my preference. So if it does kind of start to break these lows right here and right here with some like impulsive swiftness, then I will be more in favor of trying to play a lower time frame impulse retracement. But the impulse would need to be fat. It would need to be really big. And right now, I'm not sure if we're going to get that yet. I would really like to see it just come down here and then make one more move up to this, into this right here. And if we could get that, that would be a pretty good confirmation to look for the sell right there. Boom. So I'm just going to patiently wait on EU. If it does do this, or if it does do this, then I'll be looking for something like that. Okay. Not even going to look for any type of buying opportunity. I know we are kind of in an area where the market has gone up from, but I'm still seeing bearish structure, bearish what's this kind of consolidation right here. See the big impulse in the MACD. Now we're just kind of consolidating. I'm waiting for another drop. Okay, AU. So AU is actually in an area where I'm looking for it to move to the upside, but I'm not loving it. So let me just erase what I got and just kind of look at it in a different not a different standpoint, but just so let me see what we got on this. So first of all, daily. Let's see what we got. Let me move this down a little bit. On the daily, we're still just going sideways pretty much. I have these little supply and demand areas on the maybe 4-hour time frame. Let's go into that. Right, so the market hasn't broken above here in a while, hasn't broken below here in a while. And I mentioned yesterday, this area looks like a little stop, fake, and then move up. So the market could move up from here based off of this demand that happened, right? Fake out and then move up. So the market definitely could start to pop from here. I'm really not in big favor of it based on the dollar. Like I said, I want the dollar to move up, which would bring AU down. But it is forming some pretty okay divergence. So right here and here, we're getting some divergence. Let's go onto the 1 hour. You can really see the divergence right there. So market made lower lows. MACD is making higher lows. So it's kind of the same thing as the dollar, or not the same thing, but the inverse of the dollar. If it does create that 3-wave pattern, okay, so I'm going to start using this actually because there is a 3 drives pattern. Okay, impulse down, then we get the 1, the 2, and the 3. Okay, if we get something like this, oops, that's supposed to go like that. I'll probably be looking for something like this on AU. If it does give this with 3-wave divergence, I'll be looking for something similar to this. Now, this would need to kind of come down like that. Yeah, exactly like this actually. So I'll be keeping my eyes peeled for this type of move, but only because of this type of pattern and because it's been ranging. So eventually it's going to break out. So that's why it's a little risky, because this could be a quick L, right? The market could really start to just sell off hard and just go to the downside. Because when this breaks, it's going to break heavy. So that's probably what I'm going to be looking for tomorrow for AU. I'm not loving the setups on the dollar at all, but this looks okay to me. Let me see. Yeah, that's all I see. Just the divergence. I don't want to sell right now because of the divergence. If I'm looking to sell, it's gonna be up in this area where the volume profile is higher. So I'm gonna make this like a sell box, and that's gonna be the only spot that I'm really looking to sell from. Anything else, I'm looking to try to take into that box. Let's get that out of here. I need to figure out how to change those settings. GU. All right, so GU is interesting right now for sure. So you can see just on the 1 hour, I had this box down here for a possible buy entry. I didn't take it based off of how price got there. It got there way too quick, so it just looked like it was going to continue, and it did. So let's just look at the daily and how this printed. Okay, interesting. So it's got this, come on, it's got this wick going on right here. It did break through this little zone, but then it closed right above it. So it's kind of sketching me out for the continuation to the downside, to be honest, with this type of wick right here. I'm going to delete this as well. This is an area of liquidity, and this is the area I ultimately wanted it to get down to. I do still want to get down to the 61.8 if I'm looking for like really good probable high probable buy entries based off of this swing from swing low to swing high. So like I said, I still do want it to get down in there. Let me go to the 4 hour. I'm not seeing anything else right here. The volume profile, it looks like since there's not a lot of volume here, we just kind of rejected from it. Let me go to the 4 hour. Let me delete this. Yeah, so this little rejection candle, I'm not liking that to sell into. I know it did, I mean, it did what I wanted it to do. It broke this little zone right here. But the rejection of it is kind of iffy. So let me look at the 1 hour. I'm not seeing a whole lot. It did make a nice little impulsive move down. So really, I wanted GU to come up into this area before I sold it. So that's, and really, if I want the dollar to retrace down and then go up, this is what I need to see for GU. I need to see it come up and then down. Now, I know the pound kind of took over a little bit at one point yesterday, and it was a pretty strong pound, I guess it would be a weak pound that dropped this. So, you know, the pound could be weak again tomorrow, and this could fall again just straight off this. You know, it is making sort of a, you know, impulse kind of consolidation. There could be one more move off of this. But I see this area as an area of liquidity. I think if anyone is going to try to sell this right here, they're going to put their stops right there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be a little patient. I'm not loving just the break and retest. That is not extremely, I guess what I'm trying to say is that's not really how I trade. I don't just trade a break, a retest, and a drop. I try to find areas of liquidity and areas of imbalance when I'm looking at the market. So on GU, like I said, I still think it's going to get above these highs and then fall off. And based off of what I want the dollar to do, I want the dollar to retrace and then go up. So I want this to retrace and then go down. So I want to see something like this on GU, something like that. And probably not going to get that, to be honest. I just don't feel comfortable taking the sell off of this. I just don't feel super comfortable with that. Let me see the fibs. If I, you know, did, it would be something, oops, it would be something like this. Let me go to the impulse. It would be something like this up into that 78.6. But like I said, I think this is what most retail is going to be looking at, and then trying to take it down to this area. I mean, the fibs line up to come down into the 61.8, so it's not a bad move by any means, but I think I want to wait for this type of play right here and try to get something like this going, coming into that. Try to get something like that going with GU. So I'm going to be patient. Like I said, I'm going to be patient with all these dollar pairs just because I think the dollar is going to retrace a little bit still. So I'll put this alert on right there. And I'm going to bring it down actually to the 61.8 just because that's where the liquidity is at, these equal highs. But no doubt, if you're looking to sell GU, it's still a play right here. Definitely a play. I'm just going to be patient a little bit more. Okay. UJ is just still doing what it wants to do in this area. So this isn't, I'm not in this trade. This is an area where you could look to take a trade if you're a swing trader. So I'm going to delete that. And then I'm going to delete this as well, just so we don't have to look at all that mess. Basically what I'm waiting on for UJ is I'm waiting for it to make somewhat of an impulsive move to the downside, because I do see this as somewhat of a flag pattern. Let's bring out, maybe, is it in here? It's in here. I see it as sort of a flag pattern inside of a channel. And at the top of a channel, it's really ugly. So let's act like that looks better. There we go. And right, we're getting some divergence. The market is starting to flatten out right here. Let's see, lagging a little bit, I think. No, flatten out right here. From this swing to this swing, we're flat on the momentum. The momentum's going up right there. So honestly, if UJ pulls up tomorrow, I know this could be a bull flag as well. I like my bull flags to kind of come up and then at a downwards angle. So if UJ pulls up tomorrow, I think it's a really good opportunity to sell it. I'm not trying to catch the top of this by any means. So what I'll be waiting for is a move up and then a quick move down. If I can see that pattern, I'll be looking for a retracement to take that to the downside. So I'm like I said, being patient. I think if the dollar does kind of retrace tomorrow, well, this is a good chance for UJ to do this. So I'm gonna have to wait and see what happens with UJ during this session, and then wake up tomorrow and see if it's kind of made this move to the upside. The price that I'm looking for it to get to, kind of start to reject that, is 110.28. So I'm going to put an alert there and just remind myself that that is a divergence area. And if it gets into that and we still have some really good divergence on the 1 hour, that might be a scalping opportunity that I'm willing to take. Okay. UChef, looking very similar to the dollar. So this blue area that I have on here, that is a big box that I don't know why is there. So let's, I think it's actually the swing. Yeah, it's the swing from the weekly. So I'm going to just bring this over like this, and I'm going to hide it on these lower time frames. I'll keep it on the weekly. I'll keep it on the, that's it. Just keeping it on the weekly and hiding it on these lower time frames. Okay, so when I go to the daily and see what we got here, can't even see anything on this. So let me take that off the daily and go into these lower time frames. This was a divergence fib. Take that off, take that off. Let's delete that. Okay. So yeah, I'm still liking the upside for UChef, just maybe not yet based off this candle. You know, it looks like we might have a little bit of downwards pressure still. I'm being patient and waiting for it to get into this buy box. I'm going to move this up a little bit into that wick, move this a little hair, and it got really close. So it might be ready to go. You know, it got about as close as it can get to the 61.8. without hitting it. So it could really be ready to go, right? It did break highs. So, and it did retrace. We could see this thing take off. But personally, I'm seeing this as some divergence still. So I'm, like I said, I'm just being patient. I want that retracement into this area. Ultimately, I want it to come into this. I want it to come into the 60 or the 78.6 to get the best risk to reward I can, fill in this imbalanced candle, and then go to the upside on a bigger kind of, not swing, but intraday swing for sure. So still patience game for me on these dollar pairs. If I miss out, I miss out. And even if it makes this move up here, it might even show some three-wave divergence. So I'm really being extra patient with the dollar, to be honest. So we'll see what happens with UChef. I'm not a big fan of any positions on it. If you are looking to buy it right now, or I guess right then would be the time, because it's could start to move up, but not for me. I'm waiting for the best price on UChef. Okay, this one hurts a little bit, right? So this was the setup yesterday. You got the impulsive move, fibbed that, retracement. I wanted the 78.6. TP got hit, 78.6 never got hit. So that was a bummer. That was a 6-to-1 risk to reward. It happens. It happened to me like 3 times yesterday, so that's whatever. But yeah, with the way this is looking, the way it impulsed, how it's kind of chilling out, it looks like it could even just do the same thing again. So I'm kind of liking the opportunity to the upside. Still more upside on EG, and it's really because the pound got weak. So the British pound was weak yesterday, and that caused this big move, or I guess today, earlier this morning. Let me see what the daily candle looks like. Man, it just doesn't want to really break out of this little flag that we got going on right here. So I'm going to keep this little trend line right there, and you can see it kind of rejected it. Rejected the 50 EMA as well. It's kind of sideways market, so you can kind of forget about that 50 EMA. Really forget about the EMAs on the lower time frame because it's just been going sideways. Left a nice wick, so let me see here. Yeah, I mean, this is really the only setup that I'm seeing, and it kind of looks similar to GU, the inverse, right? So GU has those equal highs. This has these equal lows. And it could be a situation where the market comes in to try to take these out and then goes the way I really want it to go, right? Something like this. And then makes the move that I really want to see. So let me see here. I think still, though, this is a pretty good position right here based off the volume profile. Let me get some more price into it. So one thing I need to say about the sideways markets is when it looks like it's about to start to trend, it's usually not trending, right? It's usually just going sideways. And we came into this area where the market sold off from pretty good. You know, I think there's no other really good setups yet. I'm just having to be real patient on the dollar pairs. And I like the way that the momentum right here is climbing. So the momentum's climbing. The volume was climbing very nicely. We did get some high bearish volume on this candle, but the bullish volume was climbing as price was moving up. So that's usually a sign of continuation. So I am going to look to take EG again tomorrow. I'm going to use the 78.6, and I'm going to put my stop right here, knowing that there is some liquidity there. If it gets hit, it gets hit. The risk to reward should be close to a 6-to-1. It's only a 10 pip stop, so that is risky, but I'm just setting it up with the fibs. And 60, a little more than a 62 pip TP for a nice 6-to-1 risk to reward ratio. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the breakout. If this happens, most likely GU is going to just sell off hard. I'm going to see what some of these other pound pairs look like. But I think I like this setup the most so far. I'll have to make sure the other GBPs kind of are lining up. So I'm going to put an alert here. I'm going to say limit order active. Do I want to put a limit order there, or do I just want to put an alert there? Either way, I'm going to put limit order idea. No, I'm just going to put limit order. And if I have a limit order there, that's great. So some nights I have limit orders, some nights I don't, you know. But that's what I'm looking for to happen tomorrow on EG. Let's see what GJ looks like. So yeah, GJ played out pretty nicely. Came into this buy box that I had drawn, hit the 78.6 and flew. So I had 3 limit orders set yesterday. I had gold, EG, and US 30. GJ is the one I didn't set, and it's the one that hit. So of course that's how it usually goes. It smacked the 78.6 perfectly. That's the place I like to put limit orders. I don't put them at the 61.8 anymore. I put them at the 78.6 as the best risk reward, and then it moved up. I like to play it like this. This is how I manage the 78.6 position, right? If I put my stop below this low on the impulse, so the move or the stop loss was 25 pips. So how I play it is I put the position here, and if it goes 50 pips, if it goes double what I risk, which this one went 58, if it goes double what I risk, I take half off. So if you were to put 1% on this trade and it goes double, you're up 2%, right? So if you take half of that, you're going to bag whatever you risked, okay? Then the rest of the position, you let it ride out to the 61.8 extension, and if it does end up just flying all the way up there, you're going to make a total of 4% on the trade. So I know if I were to play it from here, it's going to tell me it was a 6-1. But like I said, when you manage it that way, you're securing 1% when it goes 2-1, and then the rest of it, if it rides up, that's 3% more. So that's how I manage that 78.6 position. Just for anyone who ever takes any of those 78.6 trades, I bag 2% or I bag 1% right here and let the rest ride. All right, and I usually do around 1% per trade. So whenever it does get to that 2% mark, you bag half of it and let the rest ride. So at this point, I mean, it's kind of going choppy, kind of going sideways. It is, it did respect this bullish buy box that I was looking for. It is starting to, form this little baby trend. I'm more in favor of it going to the upside than the downside, but this was the area that I marked off as like a high supply area, and we pretty much got into that, formed some lower time frame divergence right here, as you can see. Market was just grinding. Then we started to sell, or the momentum started to fall. Then once we kind of got this momentum to fall as well, it retraced and just fell really hard. And that is, of course, because the pound was extremely weak. Came into that area and then just made an immediate impulsive move. So, when the market starts going impulse up, impulse down, impulse up, as you can see, impulse up, impulse down, and then a little impulse up, it's the odds. I mean, you can say whatever way you want it to think it's going to go, but your odds and probability are just freaking out the window. You don't really know what it's going to do because it doesn't even know what it's going to do. So it's probably best to stay out of GJ unless you caught that little nice move right there. Then of course you can just try to let it ride out to these highs. I know a lot of people are looking at this on the higher time frame as kind of like a break, retest, and go. They're not wrong. That could definitely do that. I know that the structure right here did break, so we did get a higher high, Now we got a higher low, so we probably will get a higher high off of this. I'm just not. I mean, I'm upset that I didn't get into this at this point because now it's a little bit more risky. If you're looking for like an intraday trade off of GJ, this is what I would look for, right? So coming back into the 78.6 or 61.8, which would line up with the higher time frame swing or the little bit higher time frame swing as well. But you also have to look at this. So I'll just kind of move this over. You also kind of got to look at this impulsive move right here to the downside. So the areas that it could sell off from, it just hit that 61.8, 78.6 is right above it. So that's why I don't really like playing these impulse up, impulse down, impulse up areas, because it could go either way at this point in my opinion. But I do like the bull flag for this to move up. So if this moves up based off of the pound, if the pound gains strength, that's going to send EG to the downside. So I don't want that to happen, technically. If this goes up based off of the yen weakness, that's okay, right? That's whatever. So, because that's what happened right here. There was some yen weakness that caused GJ to go up. And this move was not based off of the GBP. That move was based off of the yen. So we'll see what happens with GJ. I'm probably just going to stay out of it at this point. Looks more bullish to me than bearish. So I got to look at GA now. If this looks okay, GA is fooling, huh? Yeah, this looks interesting as well. Let me go to the daily first and see what I'm looking at over here. Okay, a lot of rejection to the down and upside. So really, I want it to come up all the way to the 78.6 of this little impulse, little impulse. It really is. You can see it a little bit better on the 4 hour. This impulse down, we've just kind of gone sideways. If it could just come up a little bit higher than this, that'll be the area I'm looking for impulsive moves. Since it's a swing zone, I'm not going to play the 78.6. I just want it to freaking get there so I can have a higher probability. So if it can get up here and then impulse, that'll let me know, okay, this should start to possibly swing down and I can get in on something like this or something like this. But if it doesn't get up there, this area right here is just kind of noisy to me. Let me go to the 1 hour, and you know, it doesn't look terrible for this little move right here. You know, we have this, it's not really impulse, but a move up, retrace, something like that. It definitely looks possible, but it's not high probable in my opinion. You can see it does look like a nice little bearish flag, or excuse me, bullish flag. So something like this. And it makes me question EG a little bit more because this kind of looks like it could go up. Let me see what GU looked like again. GU has a little interesting area where I want it to kind of go up. So I'm not going to put a limit order here on GEG because if these go up, this is coming down pretty hard, probably smashing straight through that, probably coming into this liquidity. So I'm not going to have the limit order. I'm going to have the alert, obviously, and when it gets there, if there's some type of divergence, that'll give me more of a opportunity to look to buy it. If it gets there and then it impulses, then I'll look for some type of retracement. But I'm not going to put the limit order there based on how these other pound pairs kind of look a little bullish, right? So I'm going to take this off for now. Waiting for that to happen still. This looks like it could play out too. I don't really like 15-minute impulsive moves. You get caught up in those lower time frames. You get a lot of a lot of different trade ideas off of the 15-minute, but if the higher time frames aren't really lining up with it, then to me it's not worth it. And when I go to the higher time frame, I'm still waiting on this higher time frame move to play out. So not gonna man, the market is just interesting today. Okay, EA is almost the same thing as GA, waiting for it to get a little bit higher. And it's been making these higher highs and higher lows right here. So, you know, it could be in that spot where it's going to come up again. Not really a fan of it. Looks very similar to GA, right? It's got some nice impulsive moves right here. And it is rejecting off the 78.6. So it's probably going to move up one more time, and that'll be into the area that I really want to look for bearish opportunities. Like I said, these 15-minute impulsive moves, they're not really my thing. I see them, I could play them, but I feel like my probability goes down, and I'm really one to take like 1 to 3 trades a day, and I don't really like to trade those lower time frame moves. I like for the higher time frame to really be in control. So it's definitely a play. I definitely see the opportunity for the market to come up here. But then once it gets into that area up here, I want it to sell off. So I'm probably going to wait on all that. I don't really like to trade. I don't really like to press the execution button at this time of day either. I don't love when my trades are running while I'm sleeping because I'm more of an intraday trader. I like to just get into the trade during the day, and then if the trade has to roll over for one more day, that's okay. But I really like to watch it go on at least at first, and I'm going to bed after this, so not loving it. Gold, here's one that missed my alert or missed my entry and then moved more than what I was risking ×2. So I was risking about 58 pips, and if it would have hit the 78.6, it definitely would have moved more than double what I was looking for. So I missed this opportunity. I don't like to get into trades when they missed an opportunity, even if it comes back into that area. I'm really like a type of dude who likes to catch the sniper, and if it comes back into an area where there was a sniper, to me that's telling me more like your sniper probably wasn't really the sniper, right? So I'm not like a double bottom type sniper. If it comes into the sniper entry and it moves, that's good. If it comes back into that area, I feel like it's going to roll over and break me off pretty dirty. So with that being said, let me see the daily on this. So it did give another wick down here, but I personally think the bears are going to take over and break these lows. That's just what I'm seeing right here. I think we're going to get another tap of this low or even lower maybe. I'm going to keep this bearish box up here because if it does come up one more time, I think I'll take a move down. But I don't really want to buy it. The 4 hour is definitely not telling me to buy it yet. This was a 1 hour move off this 1 hour impulse, and really, to be honest, it was like a 15-minute impulse that popped up, and it's kind of just flagging out. Yeah, the market is really 50-50 for me tonight, and it's not always going to give me good trade opportunities. Yesterday was a day where I had a good amount of trade opportunities, and they just missed the 78.6. So I'm just being patient with it. I like it when I can get on here and give some better trade opportunities with limit orders and all that good stuff. But tonight, I mean, I know I see this W. There's some divergence with it. You know, if you want to, you can buy gold right now probably and take it past these highs even. but I'm not loving it. I'm not loving it. Maybe one more move down. If it does come down, maybe you can try to catch a position with your stop below, like right here. Based off this demand right here, the market should have a reaction. It pretty much did. You're right. It pretty much came into that. So just barely missed my order. I don't like to, like I said, try to get in twice. So overall, I do think gold has a chance to come up, but it also has a chance to just keep going down. You got this nice little impulse here, retrace. That could easily play out too. So when it's 50-50, I know everyone knows that feeling where, oh, it could do this or it could do that. When I see those, I usually just sit on my freaking hands. All right, the VIX is starting to pop. And if you're trading every day and you're not a scalper, you're definitely over trading. To be honest, you can wait for better setups. So that's all I have to say about that. I still think this is about to go to the upside. It's so low that there's no point to look to buy the indices, to be honest. I don't care how bullish the indices look. They're so high and overpriced that, they're going to correct. They got to. They don't have to, but they should. And this is starting to break above the 50 EMA. I think tomorrow might be a little drop and then a pop. I think that's what we're about to start seeing on this. So I'm expecting these indices to drop more tomorrow. So yesterday on the NASDAQ, this was the all-time highs. I said people are probably going to play this break and retest. Well, they're going to catch this L now because the divergence was just telling on it, right? The divergence was saying the momentum that it was making up here is probably going to start to slow down. The volume was ass. There just wasn't any volume on the daily. When the market broke up, no volume. So I'm looking at this as like a little liquidity grab, and we're about to see a nice solid little drop on NASDAQ. So on the 1 hour, I think I might try to play this type of move right here, where if it does come back up a little bit, to try to take it down one more leg, because it's looking very, very nice. Same with the S&P. This is what I was looking for it to do, and it's starting to do it, so I like that. These are the all-time highs for the S&P. It broke them. I don't think this is going to be a retest up. Could very well be wrong on this one because of the demand right here. We could be, doing this move. So I like the way the NASDAQ looks a little bit better for the sell. I usually try to just pick one and then go with that. But actually, when I look at the volume, we have nice bearish continue volume as the market was dropping. That is a sign of continuation to the downside, straight up. And the impulse down that we made, I like this as well. So I'm in favor of the downside regardless. I'm not even going to think about buying the indices at these all-time highs with nothing making sense in the world. So sell box up here. I like this. Come up and drop. If it does this, we're most likely going to see more waves down, to be honest. Just completely honest. Divergence is just so heavy with the divergence pattern. It looks good to me. And then, sadly, this one just, look at this. Barely missed that shit. So this is most likely going to continue down. This is it was a really good setup. Can't believe it missed, but I'll delete that now. And it's been swinging down pretty good. You can see it's been making lower lows, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower, equal low. Big bearish volume the whole way through. It's most likely going to continue to swing down. In fact, I'm going to look at this right here tomorrow again. If I can get a 78.6 position, I will definitely be taking this, trying to take this to the downside. Let me see what the daily printed. A little bit of wicks. Okay, a little bit of wicks. Let me see if it's in like a fib zone or anything. No, it's got room to the downside for sure. For sure. This is not anything to worry about on this candle. Let me go to the 4-hour and see if anything. Yeah, that's definitely the swing play. So it's got a lot of room to go to the downside in my opinion. A little bit risky by being at the area, the 200 for the holding at support, but the volume is just picking up for the bears. So I am definitely in favor of this coming up a little bit and dropping. Definitely. It looks good actually. So all the indices to me, I'm playing the sells tomorrow, trying to find the best, whichever one retraces the most, that'll be the one I probably sell. And if they go up again, I'm going to punch my TV. I'm kidding. I just don't see how these indices are even going to the upside at all. All right, and Bitcoin, still the same bias. I need a good retracement here. Well, I'm going to move this up. I need this retracement to happen. Come down into the 61.8, 78. On Bitcoin, I'll play the 61.8. I'm not waiting for it to come all the way to the 78.6. If it gets to the 61.8, which is lining up really nice with the 50 EMA, I'm going to look to buy this. We got a little breakout right here. You can see this little, it's not really a flag. I'm seeing a lot of bearish divergence right here, to be honest. So if it does pop up one more time and there's still divergence, be careful because it could retrace pretty quickly. So I'm not playing the breakout. I'm really waiting for a correction. If it happens fast, that's okay. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna catch a position at the 61.8, put my stop below here, and see if I can catch this ride up to about 45. Ultimately, I want it to hit 48 off of this next wave. That next wave, boy. And then since we got a little channel going on here, I'll just draw that. So watch out for that as well, right? This is kind of where the divergence might come up into. If it does, and there is still divergence on that, I'm not going to sell it, but I'll definitely be expecting it to do that. Okay. I don't think these are lining up yet. Ooh, they might be retracing a little bit. Let me put this here. I'm going to put it like that. I'm going to put this area on. So I'm okay with this. I like this. Ethereum is one that I gotta buy more Ethereum every time I get money. It's just how I'm thinking about it. Just like people want to buy their favorite shoes, I want to buy Ethereum every single time I get money. Just like when I was a kid, I would go to GameStop and buy a new game for no reason. Same thing here. Nothing has changed on Litecoin. Pretty much has the same bias as Ethereum. Let me just kind of clean it, make it clean for myself. And then XRP, I heard there was some good news on XRP, so I would like to see this start to move up. It is starting to just chop, chop, chop right here. So I could bring this impulse from here or here. And it's in an interesting area. So if it does start to impulse, maybe go down to the 15-minute and check out an entry. I would like to see it. There's some 15-minute divergence. If it can get down a little bit lower at the 78, might be something worth playing, to be honest, because I don't think these coins are going to start to make lower lows by any means. Maybe take it like this just to be safe, and if it can get down into here, I think that'll be okay position, to be honest. because I don't expect them to start to break lower. I really don't. I think the momentum and everything is looking good, especially if Bitcoin really starts to take off again, like it looks like it could. Um, then I'm really bullish on every coin at this point. So um, let me just check the dollar one more time. Like I said, just a little recap at the end. I'm waiting for a deeper retracement on the dollar. Okay, once it gets into this 61.8, 78.6 area, I'm looking for the bulls to come out and play based off of this. Now I know sellers did step in pretty nice right here, so they could step in again. I'd like to see that. And even if the market does kind of pop up one more time, I'm looking at this divergence. So I'm being cautious. I'm not going to play the dollar unless it retraces down here. And if it does show the three-wave divergence, that's an opportunity for like a scalping sell, in my opinion, because I don't really think the dollar is just going to take off from here, but it could. So if it does kind of form this three-wave and give rejection, I might try to scalp it. So that's the inverse for EU. I'm not going to try to play any type of buying opportunities on EU. If this thing falls, I'm really going to be looking more for a 15-minute impulse, but I want it to come up into this. Same with AU. I mean, actually, AU has this very nice three-wave divergence pattern, unlike everything else, really. So if AU gives this three-wave pattern in this little demand zone, in this area, pretty much right here where there was high volume on this day, it lines up almost perfectly. So I would look to be bringing it up, or I want to see AU kind of get up a little bit higher and form this little harmonic pattern right here, and then sell off. GU is a little sketchy, right? The GBPs right now, they might gain strength tomorrow, but then ultimately I would like to see them fall. So I'm being patient on GU. UJ, I'm being patient, waiting for either a divergence move up to try to scalp down, or just like a impulse down on the lower time frames to try to play to the downside. UChf is almost the same thing as the dollar. I really want it to come lower, then go up. If it does start to go up, I'm be watching the divergence that it could be forming. EG is one play that I have an alert at. I'm not going to set a limit order on anything tonight just because everything kind of looks 50-50. But I'll be watching for this possibility tomorrow. I like how it's making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs with this new little trend right here. But I am aware of the bears that stepped in right there, and we're kind of right in that spot. So if the pound gains strength, this is going to die. So it's a little risky, right? GJ. GJ was a good little position yesterday off the 78.6 that I ended up missing. And ultimately, if that position plays out, I could see it going back up to 156.20. There's a little small 15-minute bull flag inside here, but then we also have this bearish move right there. So this one's also a little sketchy, a little bit 50-50. GA, waiting for GA to get up to 1.8400. Then I'm going to look for bearish opportunities. On the lower time frame, it does look like a little bull flag is forming, and we could get up there. But I'm going to sit out until it gets there. And almost the same thing with EA. A bullish opportunity is forming on the lower time frames based off of this lower time frame trend. But I'm waiting for this 78.6 with some more bearish moves, because it did hit the 61.8 of the big move. And I don't know why it's way up there, the big move, and we could see some downwards movement here, but we'll see. Gold missed my little bullish move that I was looking for yesterday. I still would like to see this kind of come up a little higher and then sell off if it's going to sell off. There's still an opportunity to try to buy it right now, but I'm going to be patient and wait till it gets up here to look for sells. VIX is looking like it could pop, which means I'm looking for sells on these. Guys, the indices, I'm looking for selling opportunities on the indices tomorrow. And then I guess the only thing I would say that I'm seeing right now is if this does break lower and gives divergence, it's probably a good buying opportunity because these could just keep going up. So that's a little sketchy. I would like to see this come up on a nice ABC pattern. And then Bitcoin, like I said, retracement, move to the upside. All the cryptos, retracement, move to the upside. So that's a little recap at the end. You can just watch the end of the recording if you want to kind of see a quick recap of everything. I appreciate everyone who came on, and I'll probably see y'all tomorrow because I do this every night. Y'all have a good one. Peace out.